One way or another, most of us enjoy dressing well, choosing high-quality, stylish clothing that's both practical and comfortable. We can easily name several brands known for their outstanding quality and originality, maintaining their reputation year after year for decades. Of course, there are plenty of well-known fashion brands, but one in particular has won the hearts of millions around the world. Today, Lacoste is more than just clothing and footwear. It's a brand that offers a wide range of accessories, watches, and, of course, fragrances. In fact, according to official statistics, the brand's fragrances are among the most popular, especially among men. In 2018, Lacoste celebrated its 85th anniversary. By this time, the company had achieved remarkable global recognition and impressive sales. This success comes from a perfect blend of comfort, high aesthetics, and, of course, the iconic crocodile logo, an unmistakable symbol of quality and legacy. But where did it all begin? Who came up with the idea of creating a brand with a crocodile emblem? And why a crocodile in the first place? That's exactly what I'm going to tell you today. To truly understand the brand, we need to start with its founder. Rene Lacoste was born in 1904 into a wealthy and highly respected French family. From an early age, his future seemed predetermined. His father was strict, conservative, and firmly believed that his son was destined for a prestigious role in society. But young Rene had a different vision for his life. As a child, he was passionately drawn to tennis, dedicating every free moment to the sport. Until the age of 15, he practiced mostly on his own, occasionally receiving guidance from coaches. Day after day, his love for tennis only grew stronger. However, no one believed in him. Physically, he didn't seem cut out for a successful athletic career. He was short, not particularly well built, and far from the ideal physique of a professional tennis player. But that wasn't his only obstacle. His biggest challenge came from within his own home. His father strongly opposed his passion for tennis, leading to daily arguments and conflicts over his choice of sport. Rene's aristocratic father had no intention of raising a boy with a tennis racket. He wanted his son to become a government official. However, after much resistance, he finally agreed to give Rene a chance, but under one strict condition. He had 5 years to become a world champion. 5 whole years? That might seem like a long time, but for a serious athlete, it was critically short. Weeks and months of grueling training, sleepless nights, and relentless dedication followed. Rene relied entirely on intense preparation and his own determination. He never attended professional tennis courses, received no support from his father, and had no mentor to guide him. His only option was to study the techniques of professionals, refine his own skills day by day, and master the ability to think quickly and strategically during matches. This rigorous self-discipline would later prove invaluable in shaping his future creation. By 1923, Rene had earned an invitation to France's most prestigious international tennis tournament. By 1924, he was already one of the country's top players, but why does all of this matter? Because this was the very moment when the foundations of the Lacoste Empire were laid. Ever wondered where the famous crocodile logo came from? During a professional tournament trip, while walking through the streets of Boston, Rene spotted an elegant yet expensive accessory in a shop window, a crocodile leather suitcase. Oh, what a refined and expensive piece, he thought to himself. If I win, I'll buy it. Rene was a fierce competitor, sometimes even aggressive on the court. Every match of his felt like a performance. He gave everything he had to win, and he did. The very next day, the crocodile suitcase was no longer in the shop window. His tenacious playing style caught the media's attention. Journalists began calling him the alligator because of his swift, sharp movements on the court, reminiscent of the predator itself. A few days after his victory, one of Rene's closest friends, artist Robert George, gifted him a sketch of an alligator with its jaws wide open. The design was sleek, with intricate details that immediately captivated Rene. The next day, he took his white blazer to a tailor and had the drawing embroidered onto the pocket. From that moment on, the green crocodile became Rene Lacoste's signature emblem. Then, in 1927, at a US tournament, Rene debuted something revolutionary, a white polo shirt with a 3-button design, custom made to his specifications, featuring the now iconic crocodile on the chest. At the time, tennis players were expected to wear formal attire. White dress shirts and trousers were the standard uniform. His choice of a polo shirt was seen as an open defiance of tennis tradition. Yet, no one could deny that it was far more practical and looked effortlessly stylish against the green court. This wasn't just a fashion statement, it was a challenge to the sport itself. And it marked the beginning of a revolution in tennis apparel. Many critics disapproved of Rene's unconventional attire, and some even wanted to ban him from playing. But he looked so effortlessly cool in his new gear that, before long, other tennis players started copying his style. Rene wasn't thrilled about this. Seeing his polo shirts gain massive popularity among athletes, he made a bold decision. He retired from professional tennis. In 1933, Rene Lacoste partnered with André Gillier, a well-known knitwear magnate whom he met purely by chance, to launch a new clothing brand. The name? Simply Lacoste. This marked the beginning of a global fashion legacy, all thanks to a single polo shirt. But Rene didn't stop there. For the first time in fashion history, a brand logo wasn't hidden inside the garment, but prominently displayed on the outside. Many people mocked the idea, but as time would prove, they couldn't have been more wrong. Until the 1950s, Lacoste polos were only available in classic white. But Rene decided to experiment, and soon, the first colorful polo shirts hit the American market. It was a game changer. Wearing a Lacoste polo became a status symbol. Unlike other brands that flooded the market with mass production, Rene saw his creations as works of art. Each piece was meant to represent quality and exclusivity. He refused to spend a single penny on advertising, believing that a truly great product would sell itself. This exclusivity is what made Lacoste so desirable. As Rene later recalled, "I could have embroidered thousands of logos a day and filled store shelves, but then it wouldn't have been the Lacoste I dreamed of." By the 1950s, Lacoste polos had already made their way onto icons like John F. Kennedy and Clint Eastwood. But this wasn't just luck. It was part of Rene's brilliant strategy. Instead of paying for expensive marketing campaigns, he sent polo shirts as gifts to the most influential figures of the time. It worked. Within weeks, Lacoste skyrocketed in popularity. While Americans were cutting costs everywhere, they were still willing to spend their last dollars on this must-have status piece. Even Rene himself was baffled by the brand's massive success. In an interview, he once said, "There are things that can't be explained. Maybe if I had chosen another animal for the logo, something cute and harmless, nothing would have come of it. Take a rooster, for example. Sure, everyone would know the brand is French, but it wouldn't have had the same effect." But the true secret of Lacoste wasn't just the logo. It was the perfect balance of versatility and elegance. The crocodile emblazoned polo was so refined that it could be worn anywhere, from a casual stroll to an upscale event. Other brands took notice. Ralph Lauren introduced the polo pony, American Eagle adopted an eagle emblem, and some companies even shamelessly copied Lacoste's crocodile outright. The most notorious case was with the Chinese company Crocodile Garments, leading to a legal battle that lasted 10 years before the courts finally ordered them to change their logo. By the mid-1950s, Lacoste's product range was still relatively small. That changed in 1958 with the launch of a children's clothing line, followed by leather accessories in the 1960s. But by then, Rene was growing older, and managing the business was becoming increasingly difficult for him. He had earned the long-awaited rest he had dreamed of. In 1963, Rene Lacoste's son, Bernard Lacoste, took over the company. Since childhood, Bernard had been deeply involved in the family business, always supporting his father's vision. Under his leadership, the company expanded significantly. In the 1970s, Lacoste introduced its first line of fragrances, which remain among the top in quality to this day. The 1980s saw the launch of sunglasses, tennis shoes, leather accessories, and watches. The brand reached its peak popularity in the 80s, coinciding with the rise of the preppy fashion trend. Aspiring students at elite American colleges showcased their status through their attire: plaid trousers, wool vests with diamond patterns, loafers, and of course the legendary Lacoste polo shirt. Bernard's main goal was to expand the product range and, in turn, increase sales. By the 1990s, Lacoste polos had gone mainstream and were even being sold in discount department stores like Walmart. But this pursuit of mass production backfired. The brand lost its exclusivity and began to feel too accessible, too ordinary. Meanwhile, competition was growing. Dozens of new, trendy brands emerged, slowly pushing the iconic crocodile out of the market. By the late 90s, Lacoste was in serious trouble. Sales were plummeting, and the company seemed to be sinking fast. Bernard even considered selling the family business, but ultimately he chose not to. Instead, the board of directors decided to reinvent the brand. Enter Christophe Lemaire, a visionary designer with a modern, romantic aesthetic. As Lacoste's new creative director, he revitalized the company, launching a fresh clothing line aimed at a younger audience. The gamble paid off. Thanks to Lemaire, Lacoste regained its status as a luxury brand. Alongside the new apparel line, the company introduced a collection of premium fragrances for both men and women and opened flagship stores on some of New York's most prestigious streets. The brand also began sponsoring tennis tournaments, golf championships, and high-profile athletes, reinforcing its deep ties to the world of sports. In 1996, Lacoste officially entered the Russian market. The first Lacoste boutique opened in Moscow and was an instant hit, especially among the city's elite youth. No longer confined to tennis courts, Lacoste had transformed into a global fashion statement, seamlessly blending sportswear with street style. The signature crocodile logo was no longer just associated with athletic wear. It became more desirable than ever, outselling many competing brands. Sadly, 1996 also marked the passing of Rene Lacoste, the visionary who started it all. But his legacy was far from over. His story and the empire he built continued to shape the world of fashion for years to come. In 2005, due to Bernard's severe illness, the company was handed over to his younger brother, Michel Lacoste. A little later, leadership transitioned to Philippe Lacoste, Rene's grandson. Each of them brought their own contributions to the brand while staying true to its core values, versatility, and aesthetics. Today, Lacoste remains one of the few global enterprises still managed by the Lacoste family. The brand is now one of the most recognizable and best-selling in the world, with its products available in over 100 countries across all continents. Annual sales consistently exceed 50 million units, and Lacoste's retail network has grown to more than 3,000 stores worldwide. The company's headquarters remain in Paris, while its main production hub is located in Troyes, France. In addition to its French factory, Lacoste also manufactures products under license in Peru, Morocco, and Italy. More recently, the brand opened a branch in El Salvador within a free trade zone, focusing exclusively on manufacturing for the US market. The Lacoste story reads like a fairy tale, with a truly bright and happy ending. In the end, Rene Lacoste was able to prove his love for sports to his father, but in return, he gained more than just recognition as a professional tennis player. He won the admiration of millions of fans around the world. His legacy ensured a prestigious future not only for himself, but also for his children, grandchildren, and even great-grandchildren. Walking into a Lacoste store feels like stepping into a little house of style, where customers experience aesthetic pleasure that they carry into their everyday lives. So, what about you? How do you feel about the crocodile brand? Have you ever purchased anything from Lacoste? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments. We'd love to read them. That's all for today. See you next time.